She waits until you're at your absolute worst before she decides to leave you. And this is a common theme with, I hate to say it, most women out there. Okay, I'm not saying all. Like, I'm gonna get all these, like, women that stand by their man, like, no, not me. All right, the few that are out there, I'm saying most. Most women out there will leave you, not when you're at your best, but when you are at your worst, okay? She will never leave when you are crushing it out there, when you're killing it, when you're successful, when you're on top of the world. No, 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 no. She will wait until you fall, until you hit the ground, face first, and she thinks you're done. That is when she'll leave, right? When everyone's abandoned you, you've lost everything, seems like there's no hope for you, and she's like, this guy's done. That means I'm done. She's thinking, why do I need to stay with this guy when I can easily replace him and get somebody else? Matter of fact, she's usually thinking that the entire time she's with you, right? If you're like most guys out there, she's constantly trying to replace you. I've talked about this in a previous coaching video. The women you date will constantly try to replace you unless you do this. If you want to know what that is, go find that coaching video. It's here on my channel. But for most guys, this is a common theme in most of their relationships. It played out in my relationships too, where the woman always left when I was at my worst. She never left when I was at my best, or when, you know, I was kind of like teetering and she wasn't sure, is this guy gonna pop or not? No, she waited until I was down here, didn't look like there was any hope left, and like a hypergamous female, she jumped ship, right? She just jumped ship to the next guy. And, you know, more power to her, right? So you'll find this to be very common with most females today, unfortunately. Most of them will not stand by your side. Most of them will only be there when you're shining and not when you're descending. It's a cruel world out there, man. It's one of those harsh, cold realities of dating females, of interacting with females, right? You don't even need to be dating them. You might have some female friends. They'll just drop you, right? And again, I'm not saying all, because I've had some pretty cool female friends just like totally stand by my side. I've had a couple of girlfriends, right? I can think on one hand, that actually stood by my side, even as things were crumbling. It's not always a good thing, okay? Because when your girl just stands by your side while you're crumbling, you'll tend to lean on her and you'll tend to not man up. Nothing will motivate you to get out there and really push yourself back on top, right? So I almost kind of like it when the girl bets against me. I just have that type of personality. I want these girls to bet against me. I want them to take off when I'm down in the dumps, because it exposes them for who they really are. It shows their true colors, that they were never with you because they wanted to be with you. They were with you because of, you know, the lifestyle you're providing, the success, the fantasy in her head of who she thought you are versus who you are. It's unfortunate, guys, but this is going to play out in a lot of your relationships. I think it's just part of harsh evolution. Back in the day, most guys being men, they would just, you know, kind of just take it. Like, they'd be maybe a little butthurt over it in the meantime. Like, this chick just left me. But eventually, he would heal, he would overcome. As they say in the Marines, you adapt, you overcome, right? You adapt and you overcome. So any of these relationships that you have like that, that's probably what you did, right? You just adapted. You're like, okay, I heal, I adapt, overcome, right? And you become a better man. And for a lot of guys, including myself, I mean, a lot of the driving motivation is to get back out there and prove myself. Not only to me, but obviously, right, to shove it in her face too, right? Because I've had girls leave me in the dumps. I hit rock bottom. I talked about my ex from 2000, not the one from 2006, but there was an ex that I had in 2000, was with me for about 3 or 4 years, and the stock market crashed, so I lost everything. And the funny thing was, I never panicked. It wasn't like I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. It's over. I just went, shit. I kind of laughed about it in a way. I mean, even though I shouldn't have been, but I kind of like, what else can you do in that situation? You lost all your money in the stock market. I got to figure something out, right? She didn't find it funny. She was literally poison dripping me, and she was like, how can you be so stupid? And oh my gosh, well, you weren't thinking because you're so busy doing this, or your mind was elsewhere. And it's like, why are you trying to make things worse? Why don't you step behind me and be like, hey, you're gonna figure this out. Hey, you're Matt freaking Cross. You're gonna figure this out, right? Stand behind me like a good woman would. Nope. She's like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't want to be here to see what else happens wrong and all this other stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's going to be fine. I literally the whole time I was like, it's going to be fine. She didn't believe in me. And then, like 6 months later, no, less than a year later, I got my corporate job. And I was back on top 6 months after getting my corporate job. Bought a new top-down Mercedes. I was back on top. Found myself a new beautiful girlfriend, much younger, much hotter. I was much happier. And what did she do? She moved on to some dude who was a bit older than me. And he had his own house at the time. And obviously that didn't work out because now, as I mentioned, she's living in like a really, really shithole part of Hayward, California. Right? There's like good parts and bad parts of Hayward, California. She's living in like a really, really dangerous part of Hayward. That should be your motivation for any ex who just dumps you and leaves you when you're at your worst, right? Your motivation should be to get back on your feet as quickly as possible and not sit there and bury your head in the sand like a loser, like a beta male, like a wuss, right? But instead, push yourself, get back out there, and show what you're worth, right? Show what you're worth. Because as they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Remember this, guys. Most women, they won't leave you when you're on top. They won't leave you when you're at your best. They will leave you when you're at your worst. When you've lost everything. When everybody's abandoned you. When everybody has bet against you. Even your own friends. Maybe some family members even turned on you. Right? That's when she'll leave too. That's when she'll leave too. The good thing about this is now you know what she's about. And as I've taught you guys, you don't know who she is until you break up. You don't know what kind of girl you're dating until you break up. That's when you start to see her true colors. She will not show that to you during your relationship. She will hide that from you. So you'll never know what type of girl you're dating until it's over, right? Until it's coming to an end. Then you'll see what she's about. Right? Even having the John DeLorean, as we sit here with my DeLorean in the background. You guys who know the story of how this car was manufactured. Tons of history behind this, but John DeLorean was basically, like the embodiment of the 80s business tycoon, successful 80s business tycoon. He was supposed to become the next president of General Motors. He's responsible for a lot of automotive innovations that are probably in your own car even to this day. Even something as simple as intermittent wipers, right? You probably have intermittent wipers in your car, thanks to John DeLorean, right? Little things like that. He was a guy who rose up in his business career, right? Again, he was supposed to be the president of General Motors, and he resigned from General Motors just before he was about to get that promotion to start his own car company called the DeLorean Motor Company, right? So he launched his car company and got a bunch of investors, got a lot of celebrities. I remember Johnny Carson invested in the company and several others. There's a lot of discrepancy when it comes to the history of this car, but it was doing actually pretty well. It was selling fairly well. And from what I know, like Chevrolet, the Corvette, they were basically General Motors was threatened by the sales of this car because it might impede on the sales of the Corvette. John DeLorean needed money to keep funding the car, to keep building the car, and then he got caught up in a drug sting. You guys know about that, right? Got caught up in a drug sting, even though he had never purchased drugs before, but he got caught up in this sting, and he was eventually acquitted of all charges. So he never actually went to prison for any of this. He was acquitted, right? He got acquitted. And on the day he got acquitted, guess what? His wife of, I think it was like 10 or 15 years by that point, had left him. She left him. It was Christine Ferrar. She was a supermodel at the time. Pretty attractive girl, right? And I think he was about 20, 25, maybe even 30 years older than her. She ended up leaving him when he was at his worst, right? I mean, you could say he was at his worst before like right when he got arrested for the drug charges. When all that started going down, apparently she had already met somebody else. And then when the acquittal happened, I think she was just trying to save face, like waiting for him to be acquitted or whatnot to jump ship. And then soon, sure enough, she married some other rich dude, like some very wealthy guy. That's the story of John DeLorean, is like his own wife left him when he was at rock bottom. You know, she didn't stick it out with him. She wasn't like, John, it'll be okay. We'll get through this. We'll, you know, build another car company. Everything will be fine. We have plenty of money. No. She was just like, this guy looks like he's done, and I'm going to jump ship. Okay, so this will play out in many, many relationships, unfortunately. Not all, but I would say most. And you've probably experienced this yourself. And if you have, let me know in the comments below. And with that said, I am going to wrap up here. Until next time, this is M from the 33 Secrets, signing out here from my garage with the DeLorean. Don't forget to smash that like button below. Go ahead and smash it. Smash it right now, guys. Do it for the DeLorean. Smash that like button. Also, hit that notification bell right next to it so that you're notified whenever I release a brand new coaching video here on the YouTube. More importantly, guys, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. Helps me out with the YouTube algorithm. Okay, YouTube, the algorithm doesn't like promoting these types of videos, so I need your help, and the way you can help me is by subscribing. Okay, so make sure